For centuries, they've been a bridge between our world and the unseen, a tool for the living to decipher the whispers of the beyond. But where did the tarot truly come from? And why do so many, including our own sensitives here at the Afterlife Files, put their faith in its cryptic symbols? Welcome back. I am Jim, and this is the Afterlife Files. Tonight, we are not just exploring a history, we are tracing the origins of a key that many believe can unlock fate itself. So, let's hand it over to Bella, who will guide us through the hidden story of the tarot.
The polished wood of the dining room table gleamed under the soft glow of the lamp. The air hummed with the quiet anticipation that always preceded the shuffling of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Tonight, however, felt different. This was not just about predicting the next turn in a game or deciphering a friend's ambiguous feeling. This was about the cards themselves. Their unexpected journey from the gaming tables of Renaissance Italy to the reflective spaces of modern psychology. It was hard to reconcile the intricate, almost mystical imagery with the notion of a simple card game. Yet the text laid it out clearly. For 3 centuries, these were just trump cards in a game called tarocchi, a sophisticated pastime for the elite. The minor arcana, the familiar suits of cups, pentacles, swords, and wands, formed the backbone of the game, while the now iconic major arcana, with figures like the Fool and the Empress, served as the ultimate significant changes, adding strategic depth. It was a world away from summoning spirits or divining destiny. It was about skillful play and a well-timed trump. Then came Antoine Comte de Gebelin and his grand pronouncements in the Age of Enlightenment. The text described his fervent belief that the tarot was a relic of ancient Egypt, a lost book of Thoth. While historians, the text noted, had thoroughly debunked this captivating myth, its impact was undeniable. The sensational story, far from being a footnote, became the very foundation of the tarot's spiritual identity, propelling it into the shadowy world of esotericism. The 19th century occult revival, the text explained, embraced this myth with fervor, weaving in astrology, Kabbalah, and alchemy. The major arcana became a roadmap of the soul, the fool's journey, a narrative of personal growth. But it was Pamela Coleman Smith, with her revolutionary illustrations for the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, who truly cemented the tarot's modern form. By giving visual life to the minor arcana, transforming simple arrangements of suits into evocative scenes, she made the entire deck a canvas for storytelling and introspection. The heartbroken man and his spilled cups were no longer just 3 of cups. They were a poignant narrative waiting to be explored, and that, the text argued, was the key to their enduring appeal. The modern fascination was not about foretelling a rigid future, but about understanding the present. The cards, like Rorschach blots, offered a space for self-reflection, their archetypal imagery acting as a mirror to our subconscious. A spread did not dictate fate. It provided a framework, a structured lens through which to examine a jumble of emotions. The text also touched upon the profound comfort found in connecting with universal human experiences, the validation of seeing one's struggles mirrored in the ancient symbolism of the major arcana. For some, the random draw was guided by a higher force, a concept of synchronicity that offered a sense of meaningful connection to the universe. And even for the more skeptical, the text acknowledged the subtle yet powerful influence of cognitive biases, the Barnum effect and confirmation bias, that reinforced the perceived accuracy of the readings. As the final sentences of the text echoed in my mind, a deck of 78 cards is a lot easier to consult than the depths of your own subconscious. I looked down at the cards laid out before me. They were no longer just pieces of printed cardstock. They were a testament to a remarkable historical journey, a blend of playful invention and imaginative interpretation. Whether their power lay in cosmic guidance or psychological insight, they offered a unique and tangible way to navigate the often unseen currents of our inner lives. The shuffling was complete. The conversation with the cards was about to begin.
From a simple game to a map of the human soul and its connection to the cosmos. The story of the tarot reminds us that the tools we use to seek truth are often as layered and mysterious as the truth itself. Whether you see it as a psychological mirror, a spiritual compass, or a direct line to the other side, its enduring power is undeniable. What do you believe? Can a simple deck of cards deeply hold echoes from the afterlife? Share your experiences and stories in the comments below. If this journey into the unknown resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss our next investigation. Until next time, keep your minds open. I'm Jim, and this has been the Afterlife Files.